Hi Laura, how are you doing? What have you got for us? Okay.
For almost 20 years, phone calls like this have been a daily occurrence for Russell MacMillan.
If you speak to any frontline worker that's out there, and especially now, the state is struggling, there's not enough money in the kitty, we've got an ageing population. So you want to know what are the unmet needs. Don't try and do it yourself. Go to the people that have got years of training.
The 59-year-old is the founder of East Renfrewshire Good Causes. In his words, the charity steps in to help where state support ends.
Homelessness is awful, and somebody comes out the blue and says, we care about you. Here's a wee act of kindness, and it might be £100, might be 50 quid. So it's not always tens of thousands of pounds.
Russell knows better than most just how far the kindness of others can go. Aged 8, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It caused him to completely lose his eyesight at just 23.
You're going from man about town to being this total blind guy with no sight whatsoever, not able to tell whether it was daytime or nighttime at the age of 23, so it was certainly very, very challenging. They offered me a guide dog, and I said, look, if you get guide dogs that go clubbing and enjoy a pint on a Saturday night, then fine, I'll take a guide dog, but until you get to that point, I'll just see how I manage.
But the complications didn't end there.
The problem with diabetes, if you're not able to get on top of it, is you do develop long-term complications. By the time I was about 40, I'd lost my hypo symptoms, which meant I didn't know that I was having a low sugar, and if there was no intervention, potentially you can then die from that.
The only solution was for Russell to wait for a kidney and pancreas transplant.
Understanding that when you're down to 8% kidney function and you're type 1 diabetic, if you need a double organ transplant, you're already unwell. It's not the kind of thing that they're going to give you for the sake of it. It's a massive operation.
Russell eventually received his life-saving double transplants from an anonymous donor.
You really can't put that into words, what that is. A total stranger has saved your life, cured your type 1 diabetes, cured your kidney failure. They've given you a life expectancy that you didn't have. It is massive.
Not long after his surgery, Russell knew he wanted to give back in any way he could. While sitting in hospital, he says an idea came to him out of the blue.
I said, Yvonne, gave her a reporter's notepad, and I said, there's a business plan for East Renfrewshire Good Causes. And Yvonne's like, what? I'd never mentioned it before.
What was that business plan?
Basically, to go out there and try and raise £100,000 to love our neighbour, as I say, in memory of the organ donor, saying thanks to God. It just made perfect sense. It's like, wow, this is actually quite a good business plan. Yvonne! Yeah? I need your eyes, please.
What do you want me to read?
Helped by his wife Yvonne, Russell reached his targets of £100,000 within 4 years. But he knew he couldn't stop there. Since then, East Renfrewshire Good Causes has donated £2 million worth of goods and services into the local community and supported more than 7,000 people. One of them is Linda Ward, who found herself gravely ill 2 years ago.
My sister had phoned to see how I was in for the hospital. She said she's had a heart attack. She went, what? And then after that, she phoned again to see how I was, and they said, we're going to have to take one of her feet off. And then they said, no, we're going to have to amputate her legs. She's like, what's going on? What is it? And they said, she's got sepsis.
Following the trauma of a sudden operation to amputate both legs, Linda returned home to find the wheelchair she'd been given was too wide to let her move around her house. She ended up bedbound in her living room for a year. Because
of the stitches and the clamps and everything that was on my legs, I couldn't really move about. So obviously I had people in help me. Nobody wants somebody to bathe them, wash them with a face cloth. It takes all your dignity away. It's no life.
But things started to change when Linda was put in touch with Russell, who told her to pick out a wheelchair that would suit her.
They moved all the chairs and sat me on, and I was going run about and run about. And I says, oh, I quite like that one. I says, but look, I says, I'll need to come back when I've got the money. The guy said, well, just give me 5 minutes. I said, right, okay. So me and my husband's sitting there waiting. He comes back and he hands me the book. I said, what's that? He said, that's all been bought and paid for. So, do you know what it is? I knew I could go outside. I'd have my life back. And that wee bit of kindness to me was amazing. But no, he never stopped here. I said, oh, I can't get out the back door. And I got a chap at my door and there was somebody there to put the wee lip suit for me as well so I could get out the back door at the summer. And I said, Russell, thank you so much, but he went, no, but I've got something else for you. I thought, what? A ramp, he says, so when you go outside, he says you can get in and out the shops.
Linda had previously worked in a local pub and loved the social aspect of her job, so being able to get back out of the house made a huge difference.
So the first thing I done was went to the wee restaurant at the roundabout and I took the ramp with me. I'm sitting in my wheelchair and I sent Russell the picture. This is my first outing and that's all thanks to you. And I know he doesn't realise how much he gave me back. Like he gave me my legs back, because these are my legs now.
East Renfrewshire Good Causes also provides support to local schools like Eastwood High. Kids come along each morning to a free breakfast club where they're guaranteed a hot meal and one-to-one support from teachers.
Alia was a 6-year pupil and wanted to set this up for young people who weren't getting something to eat in the morning, but also as a social place for people to go, maybe people who were vulnerable, wanted a nice start to their day, and that was match funded by East Ren Good Causes, and that's allowed us to keep that running.
I was speaking to one of my friends and she was saying to me that she hadn't eaten since yesterday, and that was very late on in the day, so then I was thinking, this must be a widespread problem around the school. We thought it was going to be impossible really, because within our school it's seen as quite an affluent area. So then when companies are looking at the school, they're like, okay, so they're not in deprived areas. But I don't think they realise how mixed our demographic actually is and how many people need help, especially in these times.
What I really like about it is Russell trusts the frontline judgments. He knows we know our young people, we know what they need. So when we put those applications in, he will look at that and will always match fund that for us, and he helps us in a number of ways in the school.
And in the wider community, hundreds of people rely on the Love Your Neighbour Club.
We aim to put out a basic pack with maybe about £50 worth of goods. It'll include things like bleach, floor cleaner, toilet roll, soap, and personal hygiene, shampoo type stuff. It's not a food bank. It sees itself as going beyond what the state will provide to help people out that are in need. Folk don't always realise just how much poverty there is in every area. East Ren is no exception to that. I will do some of the deliveries myself, and the people at the doors are really enthusiastically grateful for the packs that we bring them, and you can see it makes a huge difference in their lives.
Russell puts all of the good work of his charity down to a deep Christian faith he discovered not long after his transplant.
You're extremely humble, but you do have this incredible energy about you, this incredible positivity. What is it that really keeps you going on the days when it is hard?
If you're given the opportunity to help someone else and to do something good in life, it's worthwhile getting up. So I've got the most fabulous life. Even when it's hard, even when I'm not feeling that well, and you think, oh, I wish I wasn't blind. But with all that, when you then sit and think, okay, if I keep going, I can help a kid with autism. I can help a grandpa that's got Alzheimer's.
Now, 17 years on and £2 million later, East Renfrewshire Good Causes is showing no sign of slowing down.
We recently had a big renewables company came along to us. We like what you do, and we want to give you several £1,000s per month by standing order. And it's like, is this April Fool? And the voice goes, but there's a but. So the but is that we don't just work in East Renfrewshire. We now need to take grant applications in from any frontline worker anywhere in Scotland. So if you're a social worker and you happen to be in Stornoway, phone me and we'll see if we can try and help.